billionaire came home early, just 3 days before his wedding, and caught his fiancée pouring dirty water on his mother and daughter. What he did next will leave you speechless. This is the story of Michael Anderson, a man who had everything: a billion-dollar empire, luxury beyond imagination, and respect from everyone around him. But life hadn't given him what every person truly craves: inner peace and genuine love. 5 years ago, his wife passed away, leaving him alone with their 7-year-old daughter, Emma. Since then, Michael had built walls around his heart, focusing only on business and raising Emma. But then, Victoria entered his life. Victoria Martinez was everything Michael thought he needed. Elegant, sophisticated, charming. She spoke multiple languages, carried herself with grace at every business event, and most importantly, she seemed to care for Emma. Or at least that's what Michael believed. Their engagement was celebrated in the biggest hotel in the city. Politicians, celebrities, business tycoons, everyone attended. The wedding was scheduled in just 3 days. Everything seemed perfect, but Michael had no idea that behind those perfect smiles and gentle words, Victoria was hiding her true face. You see, Michael's mother, Margaret, had been living with them for the past 2 months. She was a simple woman, kind, humble, and deeply religious. She wore simple clothes, spoke softly, and spent most of her time praying or helping in the kitchen. Victoria despised her. To Victoria, Margaret was an embarrassment, an old woman who didn't fit into her vision of a perfect, sophisticated family. Michael was supposed to fly to Dubai for an important business meeting. The flight was scheduled for 8 a.m. Victoria knew this. She had planned everything carefully. That morning, after Michael left for the airport, Victoria's mask finally came off. Margaret was in the garden, watering the plants, with little Emma helping her. They were laughing together, Emma's innocent giggles filling the morning air. Margaret was teaching her granddaughter about different flowers, showing her which ones needed more water, which ones loved the sun. Victoria watched them from the balcony, her face twisted with disgust. She walked down to the garden, her heels clicking against the stone pathway. In her hands, she carried a bucket. But this wasn't ordinary water. It was the dirty, filthy water from mopping the floors, mixed with soap, dirt, and grime. Still playing in the dirt like peasants? Victoria's voice was cold, cutting through the peaceful morning. Margaret looked up, surprised. Victoria, dear, we were just— I don't care what you were doing, Victoria interrupted, her voice dripping with venom. You know what? I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of watching you embarrass this family with your cheap clothes and village mentality. Little Emma's eyes went wide with fear. She had never heard Victoria speak like this before. Victoria, please. Emma is here, Margaret whispered, trying to protect her granddaughter from the cruelty. Oh, Emma needs to learn too. Victoria laughed, a harsh, cruel sound. She needs to learn that in this world there's no place for weak, pathetic people like you. And then she did it. Victoria lifted the bucket and poured the entire contents over Margaret and Emma. The dirty, cold water drenched them completely. Margaret gasped, trying to shield Emma, but it was too late. The little girl started crying, her body shaking with cold and shock. This is where you belong, Victoria hissed. In the dirt. And after the wedding, I'm sending you to an old age home where you can spend your last days with people just like you, useless and forgotten. Margaret didn't say a word. Tears streamed down her face, not from the humiliation but from the pain of seeing her granddaughter crying. What Victoria didn't know was that Michael never got on that plane. His business partner had called just as he reached the airport. The meeting was postponed. Michael decided to surprise his family and return home early. He wanted to spend the day with Emma and his mother before the wedding chaos began. As he pulled into the driveway, he heard something that made his blood run cold. His daughter's cries. Michael rushed toward the garden, and what he saw would change everything. His mother and daughter, drenched in dirty water, trembling. His mother was holding Emma close, trying to comfort her even in her own pain. And standing above them, with an empty bucket and a satisfied smirk, was Victoria. For a moment, time stood still. Victoria's face went pale when she saw Michael. She dropped the bucket, the plastic clattering against the stone. Michael, you're home early. I can explain. Explain. Michael's voice was eerily calm, but his eyes burned with a fury Victoria had never seen before. Explain how you just humiliated my mother. Explain how you made my daughter cry. Explain how the woman I was going to marry turned out to be a monster. Victoria's mind raced, trying to find the right words. Michael, you don't understand. Your mother she was teaching Emma bad habits. I was just trying to stop. Michael's single word cut through her desperate lies. He walked past Victoria without looking at her and knelt beside his mother and daughter. Emma, sweetheart, he whispered, gathering his crying daughter in his arms. It's okay. Daddy's here now? He helped his mother stand, his heart breaking at the sight of her dignity being torn apart. Margaret, even in this moment, only whispered, I'm sorry, son. I didn't want to cause trouble. Those words, those selfless, loving words from a woman who had just been humiliated, they shattered something inside Michael. Michael turned to Victoria, his voice ice cold. Pack your things. You have 1 hour to leave this house. What? Michael, no. You can't do this. The wedding is in 3 days. Everyone knows. Think about your reputation. Victoria's desperation was showing now. My reputation? Michael's laugh was bitter. You think I care about reputation more than my family? More than the woman who raised me? More than my daughter's tears? He pulled out his phone and started typing. You want to know what I'm doing? I'm sending a message to every single wedding guest. I'm telling them the truth, that the wedding is cancelled because I discovered the woman I was going to marry is cruel, heartless, and abusive. Victoria's legs nearly gave out. No, you can't. I'll be ruined. No one will ever... You should have thought about that before you poured dirty water on a woman who has more grace in her little finger than you have in your entire body, Michael said, his words cutting like knives. But then, something unexpected happened. Margaret placed her hand on Michael's arm. Son, she said softly, don't do this out of anger. Michael looked at his mother in disbelief. Mom, she humiliated you. She hurt Emma. I know, Margaret interrupted gently. But revenge won't heal anyone. Send her away, yes. Cancel the wedding, absolutely. But don't destroy her publicly. Don't let hatred poison your heart like it poisoned hers. In that moment, Victoria realized something she had never understood before. True strength isn't about power or cruelty. It's about kindness, even in the face of evil. Michael looked at his mother, this woman who had just been degraded, yet still chose mercy over revenge. He took a deep breath and nodded. You're right, Mom, he said. Then he turned to Victoria one final time. You have 1 hour. Leave quietly. I won't expose what you did, but if you ever come near my family again, I won't be so merciful. Victoria left that day, her dreams of wealth and status shattered by her own cruelty. She had everything within her reach, love, family, security, but she threw it all away because she valued the wrong things. Michael called off the wedding, simply stating personal reasons to the guests. Some gossiped, some speculated, but Michael didn't care. He had learned the most valuable lesson of his life. That evening, after Emma was bathed and put to bed, Michael sat with his mother in the living room. Mom, he said, his voice thick with emotion. I'm so sorry. I should have seen it. I should have protected you. Margaret smiled, that same gentle smile she always had. Son, you couldn't have known. Some people are very good at hiding who they really are. But God has a way of revealing the truth at the right time. How can you be so forgiving? Michael asked, genuinely amazed. After what she did. Because holding on to anger would hurt me more than it would hurt her, Margaret explained. Forgiveness isn't about excusing what someone did. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of hate. Michael hugged his mother, realizing that this simple woman in simple clothes was wiser and stronger than any billionaire he had ever met. 2 years passed. Michael never remarried, but he didn't need to. He had everything that mattered. His daughter, his mother, and peace in his heart. He did change one thing, though. Every month, Michael's company now donated to organizations that help elderly people who had been abandoned by their families. He started a foundation called Dignity for All, inspired by his mother's grace under cruelty. Little Emma grew up watching her grandmother's kindness and her father's transformation. She learned that true wealth isn't measured in money, but in the love you give and the kindness you show. As for Victoria, some say she moved to another city, trying to find another wealthy man to marry. But she never found what she was looking for, because she never learned the most important lesson, that you can't build happiness on a foundation of cruelty. This story teaches us something profound. Sometimes life puts people in our path to test us. Victoria failed that test because she valued appearances over character. She saw Michael's mother as someone beneath her, when in reality, Margaret was the strongest person in that entire mansion. Real kindness isn't about grand gestures or public displays. It's about how you treat people when you think no one is watching. It's about choosing mercy when you have every right to seek revenge. It's about recognizing that every human being, regardless of their clothes or status, deserves dignity and respect. Michael almost made the biggest mistake of his life, but sometimes the universe intervenes in unexpected ways. That cancelled flight, that early return home, it saved him from a lifetime of regret. And Margaret, she proved that true strength doesn't roar. It whispers, it forgives, it shows grace under fire. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this message today, and subscribe to our channel for more untold stories of kindness that will restore your faith in humanity. Remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Because kindness is never wasted. It always comes back, sometimes in ways you never expected. Drop a comment below. What would you have done in Michael's place? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep spreading kindness. It costs nothing, but it means everything.